Ty, you good?
Yeah. When I
Okay.
log in, I'm good.
I'm missing somebody in here.
I'm not logged in yet.
Okay.
Sorry, I
That's
was
okay.
distracted by trying to figure out how to...
Yes, you were trying to troubleshoot for me.
Well, no, I'm just trying to remember what email address I used.
Oh.
It doesn't appear to be saved in my browser history anymore.
They don't get special ones made.
I'm sure I just used somewhat of a variation of my Gmail account. I just can't remember what I put in.
All right. In that case, who would like to remind us what happened 2 weeks ago?
Wait, let me start the recording. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm all messed up. Okay, now.
Okay. Who would like to remind us what happened 2 weeks ago?
What's happened the last 2 weeks? My brain is not functioning.
Well,
good question.
Zoe and Rizwin had a meeting with an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that was the end of the session.
It was?
Zoe wandered off and had a meeting with a group of like-minded individuals above the salon, met a guy whose brother was probably involved in the cult and disappeared around the same time Zoe left the city 6 months ago. We know through the Carcaman ambassador that the cult is working mostly in the poorer districts of the city, the Stumps/Dryden. And
Two separate places.
Two separate places, yes. Stumps is the literal slums, and Dryden is the don't go out after dark area of town, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you had the meeting with the cleric of Bashaba.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably in a place of power, and doing anything to them there would have been real bad.
Oh yeah, also I think the last session was when Zoe, yeah, you said it already.
Yeah.
Go along.
I think that was about as much as we got in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. It
And
was a
also,
very tie-heavy game.
There was one other thing. Rizwin narrowly dodged a stressful event by a piece of paper magically showing up in Zoe's pocket.
Oh, yes.
You make that comment. Now I think Rizwin puts it in there.
Can you remember me of that? I remember more or less on
the invitation to the cleric Bashaba's soiree meeting showed up in Zoe's pocket. It doesn't know how it got there. Presumably magicked.
And why it was gonna be awkward for Rizwin?
Rizwin was gonna go have a dreaming. Rizwin is
yeah, they're going to let Estrella know that the Platinum Army's on Sheras soil.
Ah.
Well, we got bigger fish to fry right now.
And we were left on the idea of Pert and Fire going to this shady place to get all the info we can.
Yes. So yes, we ended just after Brisbane and Zoe left the meeting with the prophet. And so I think we should start this week with Pert and Fire. The two of you were going back to that dueling club that Pert had visited once to see if you can collect any more information.
Yes.
Pert?
Yes, Fire.
With what animal you will feel more comfortable with?
Did I see any guard dogs, fighting dogs, that kind of thing when I was there, Jamie?
There were no fighting dogs. Yeah, you didn't see any guard dogs either.
Camille had originally suggested maybe a small animal like a rodent or a mouse.
Yeah,
that
I can be some sort of rodent, a cat following you, dog, an insect.
Would you like to be a guard snake?
If you want.
Are you comfortable with that?
I do not mind any of them. It's what you feel more comfortable, because you will need to tell the story of why you have a snake there.
Pert grins just a little bit. Well, it's so people don't go through my things while I'm fencing with my instructor.
Snake it is.
And after Fire changes into a snake, Pert will just gently drape him around his neck so that while Fire might not be immediately visible to most people due to Pert's height and his collared jacket and stuff, if someone gets close, they're going to see the snake.
Okay.
And it's not little. It's like an arm fat, arm wide, person arm wide snake.
Are you going constrictor or poisonous?
Poisonous, because constrictor of that size will not do that much.
Mm-hmm.
I will use the stat of the giant poisonous snake.
Except that you are not giant.
I mean, giant is medium. It's medium size.
That's still the size of a man.
Look, I have a snake. The Ragnar, it's 1 meter and a half, and it can go in my neck, no problem.
Okay, then you're probably not. It's probably not going to matter that much.
I'm just imagining a 5-foot cobra draped around Pert's neck now.
Ugh. Okay. What does the snake look like? And also, how long can you be a snake?
I can be a snake for 4 hours per wild shape, and I can do it twice.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say green with some traces of red.
So he stands out pretty well against Pert's skin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So with Fire Snake in tow, Pert, you make your way back to the dueling club. It's like a little bit before dinner time now. You had wanted to wait until early evening to go, just in case it wasn't like there wasn't people there.
Yes, and just in case, because I think I agreed to same time tomorrow kind of a statement with the instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And so Pert will approach his cloak back on, although he's not trying to be stealthy this time.
Mm-hmm.
He is still watching to see if anyone's watching people coming and going.
Okay. You are recognized and let in.
But no feelings like someone's surveilling the place?
Make a perception check.
I'm looking on Pert's back.
You can also make a perception check.
Hell yeah.
Teamwork.
No, you do not. Outside of the, there is somebody minding the door. But outside of that, you don't notice anybody, like, skulking in the shadows watching the place.
Alright, that's cool. Yeah. Pert will accept the guards' greetings and head inside.
Mm-hmm. Quasta, just make me a stealth check. See,
Okay.
like, just how obvious. Okay. The guard does not seem to notice you.
Lol.
And as you descend down to the dueling club, there are a few less people than there were last night. You figure it's still kind of early, but you do see the woman that you sparred with.
All right. And Pert will enter, take a brief look around, acknowledge. I'm going to say I think he got a drink from the bartender, so he'll give a light acknowledgement to the bartender before heading over to the trainer. Did we get her name?
She said her name was Alana.
Okay, good name.
She is just like slowly nursing a drink as she sees you approach and says, "Well, you're early."
Pert gives a bit of a mild shrug. Concerns with self-defense have become slightly more prominent, so I figured a bit of an earlier arrival might be advantageous. No rush if you're busy with your drink, however. Pert will put his, hip sack on a chair and take up a second chair beside, well, not beside her, but facing her. And two fingers will gently scratch just behind the snake's skull.
Mm-hmm.
Snake will take the cue and uncoil and go to sit on the bag.
And Pert will casually start taking off the excess gear and clothing and stuff as he's letting the snake curl up on the bag, grinning a little bit to her. I do hope you don't mind. I had a bit of a encounter the other night. Has the city always been quite so wild?
She's side-eyeing the snake.
He's perfectly
Only if you were to
harmless.
look.
And Pert gives a bit of a nod. Don't worry about him. He's perfectly harmless as long as no one touches my equipment. And this includes the freaking hellhound skull, by the way. Or the preserved head in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
So Pert's got a bit of an odd collection of stuff,
Yeah.
including a snake guarding it.
Better be.
And Pert kind of scratches the snake under the chin. You're a good friend, aren't you, Fire?
Malem.
Lovely.
If the bartender ever comes close while we're chatting, Pert will just quietly order some chicken and just water for himself.
Is the chicken for the snake?
Yes.
Okay.
Lol.
See, I wasn't really looking until now. I'd had some problems back home, and Pert doesn't say back home, but he kind of gives a casual head gesture towards the preserved hellhound skull. And that's part of the reason why I headed this direction, but it seems some of the same bad actors are prevalent in your city as back there. You have many encounters with this cult that's running around?
She takes a sip of her drink. Not quite sure I know what you mean.
Insight check.
Sure.
God damn it.
You are not sure.
Did we have a name that Cathanid and Zoe shared with for the cult that they were dealing with?
Yep.
What was it?
Children of Kiro.
Children of Kiro?
Kirao.
Here, I'll
Kilrao.
type it.
And Pert gives a bit of a shrug. Oh, I don't know much about them personally. They just caused problems for friends of mine. He kind of shrugs and gestures to the city. He just, gestures around him as if pointing towards the city surrounding them. It seems like things here are working at least rather reasonably, but this group, I think they go by the name of the Children of Kiral. They caused a lot of trouble back home. It seems like they're starting to show up around here as well.
You sure are talkative, aren't you?
Pert shrugs. I didn't want to rush you through your drink. No reason to be rude. He calmly sits back. What about yourself, Alana? What do you do beyond master a fine blade?
No, that's about it.
Okay, now this time Pert's actually going to try for the insight.
Alright. Ooh. You get the sense that she's a very, she's being very careful what she says. Perhaps not just to you, but in this space.
And Pert gives a gentle nod. Well, the fine use of your sword is why I'm here, so if you are finished, I'd be delighted to have a earlier round if you've got the time.
Well, if you're so eager to get your butt kicked again.
Of course. And Pert stands and gives that, overly exaggerated, gentlemanly bow at the waist, with the one arm gestured out to the side. It's an honor to be butt kicked by an expert, after all.
She laughs, picks up her sword, and goes to the dueling pit. I'm not going to have a second skill challenge because I don't want... I don't want, luck in the other direction to sort of negate the thing that we did last time.
Okay, I was going to say Pert was going to cheat 100% of the time if we were going to do one, but instead I'll simply say, Pert's going to cheat!
Okay, make...
So basically he's just going to use sleight of hand and his dagger so that if she ever overextends or something, he does the whole stepping in too close, but using the dagger as a, hey, I get this point, right?
Right. Make me a sleight of hand check.
Sure, I've got a special thing for that.
When we finish with Perch, I would like to do something. But
Yes.
when we finish with it.
Ooh. Okay. Make a... What were we using last time? Acrobatics?
I think we were using athletics despite me preferring acrobatics.
No, it was acrobatics. Cause
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you just had some really shitty luck.
Yeah, okay. Acrobatics
Yeah,
then?
roll acrobatics with advantage. Damn. You do much better this time around. I think you get a couple on her. And she seemed like she's quite impressed.
And I think this helps to show that Pert is not a fencer, but is clearly got some skills with fighting.
Nice. Yeah, now that you're trying to play your game instead of hers, things are much more even. And she does get a couple of points on you. But you do much better this time around. While Pert is showing off, Fire, you are a snake.
Snake.
Does he have some chicken?
Yes. The chicken was left on a plate near Pert's drink. The bartender was not getting anywhere near that snake.
I poof. That's like the snake of no full kiss, but don't be near. I want to suss out 3 things. 1, while Pert was talking about everything, did someone around us had like their ears perked up and look at us or something like that?
Right. Make me a perception check.
Reminder, as a wild shape, mental stats, I use my own physical stat of the animal.
Okay. You do, so there are a few tables of like 3 or 4 people. There's a couple of people on their own. The table, like the groups seem to be pretty engrossed in their own conversation and aren't, they're kind of like looking around to see if anybody's looking at them more than they're paying attention to other people. One of the guys that's on their own, you're not sure if he was, like, he may have been listening in. You're not completely sure.
So one group that appeared to be talking through them and being more worried about not being hearing others, and one person that might be.
There's three or 4 groups that you see, like, every once in a while. Somebody will be kind of like looking around, like, hey, is anybody looking at me?
Very shady in general. Second question. Did this lady left her things in the table with me?
Her rapier scabbard is on the table beside her empty drink mug and Pert's water. That seems to be all.
No bags, no jacket, nothing else.
No.
Damn it. And is there like a obvious backside of this kind of shady place where people goes?
Make another perception check. While you're looking around at all of the people, you do see a couple walk in, sort of like from an entrance that's like very close to the bar that one might assume is like a supply room. You also see the bartender going back there occasionally if you watch long enough. But 2 patrons coming out of there was kind of weird.
Give me a second, I'm reading something.
Yeah.
I think I can transform into another animal without passing through being a human again, right?
I don't know.
I think it is the case.
Anyone else know the answer to this?
I'll read Wild Shape real quickly. You guys do your thing.
Meow.
Because
Yeah.
now I'm realizing Snake is not the most well suited for.
Reconnaissance?
Yeah.
Druid. Yes, there's cat. Sorry.
Ow.
The druid turns beast.
Ow.
Stay in B shape for a number of hours equal to half your druid level. You revert to your normal form unless you spend another use of this feature. You can revert to your normal form earlier. You automatically revert if you're unconscious. So it sounds like it's a mental thing. So in my brain, they don't say one way or the other. In my brain, switching forms is no different than like switching forms from a snake to a mouse is no different than switching from a furbog to a snake.
Yeah, it's like just I used another usage.
I would also read it like that. So, yes, you can transform from a snake into something else without passing through furball form.
Like when I think of like other instances of fictional shapeshifters, they often like just switch from form to form to form to form. You know, like it's the you know the rule of cool. It's like I'm a charging boar, and then all of a sudden I turn into a soaring hawk.
It's the Merlin wizard duel from Arthur.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so I will start uncoiling and going around like I don't know, minding my business, coiling through a table or something.
Please make me a stealth check.
God damn it! Just passing by.
You are a very large poisonous snake. Okay, that's not bad. Let's see. Yep, great. Whoops.
Ice hit floor.
Dice hit floor. Nobody seems to notice you as you very carefully uncoil, passing underneath tables.
Oh, so I can go around? Can I, without transforming, go near the other tables and hear what they're talking about?
Yeah, if you want to, you can go around to the other tables.
I
mean, yeah, like, it is going to be very difficult for you to get from the tables to that back entrance. Because there's a space that there is just nothing to hide behind, but you can go, like, through the chairs and tables and stuff.
Yeah, for going to the backside, I plan to transform again. But without transforming, if I can hear people talking around me, that could be cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Make a perception check.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So many 20s today.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are on fire.
Hell yeah.
No, Quas is on fire.
You sneak through a couple of pushed out chairs underneath the table of a group of 3 that are talking in hushed tones to each other. They seem to be talking about some some guy that died yesterday in the street.
Like, did you hear about this? Some random dude that died, or oi, Michael died.
No, like, did you hear about this guy that died?
Okay.
One of them says, you hear one of them say that, I bet you it was a church. And the other one says, well, no shit. As you listen a little bit longer, one of them says that he's pretty sure that guy that died was involved with those children folks, and he says it's kind of a shame. You know, I thought maybe those guys could take the church down a peg.
Sorry. Something about the kids?
Yeah.
Children of Kirol.
Ah.
Yeah, Fire could probably put that together, that they're talking about that cult.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if that was a Quasta brain thing or a Fire brain thing.
Not me. Okay, so at least this group is rooting for not the church, not necessarily the sons of the children of the thing, but not the church.
That's how I'd read it as well. Boy, it sure would be nice if the church was taken down a peg or two.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And make a quick insight check. You can't see them, but there's this, after he says, like, the church has been bleeding people dry for years, he kind of mutters under his breath, fuck those guys. And then there's this, you hear somebody up there say, shh. There's this awkward pause, like they're kind of waiting for something to happen.
Mm-hmm. More or less like the fear of being always heard.
Yeah.
Well, they are. Okay, I think they have, unless you say the contrary, I think they have nothing else of interest. So I will wild shape into a fly. I guess there are flies around here, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of flies kicking around.
Yeah, I go into a fly. Bzzz. And I fly around to more or less the direction of the door.
Okay. Make a stealth check with advantage because you're a fly.
What are the stats of a fly?
Oh no.
I don't know, but whenever you transform, you have to say, "Help me!"
Do you want giant fly?
No. I mean, I assume no.
There's literally no stat for, like, I'm gonna go with like a sturge.
Black fly creature has a
What's a
stealth
sturge?
+4.
The
That
sturge
sounds
is like
great.
a fly demon.
Oh. Yeah, give yourself +4.
Yeah, they're a tiny.
It's not all of that. It's 16.
16. I mean, you're a fly. The bartender notices you go by, but you're a fly. Like,
Bzz, bzz, motherfucker.
yep. You go into this back entrance. I mean, I should say it looks like a cellar room. Like, there's barrels of stuff and crates of food, alcohol. Make a perception check.
Jesus. This is the place where people were coming, and
Yeah, you did see
weirdly.
a couple of people come from in here. It just looks like a storage room. There might be like a secret door here somewhere, but
bang my head. through the window.
Thought you were a fly, not a bee.
Also, there's no window here.
Yeah, that's more of a fly sound.
The door is closed, right?
No,
Jamie?
the door to this like little cellar is open.
Oh, so you can see the cellar from outside.
Yeah.
Uh,
As you're like buzzing around trying to find this presumed second entrance, like the bartender comes in here and grabs some more stuff and goes back out.
well, shit. I don't know. I think I have nothing more. Sorry. Can I kind of hit in a corner?
Sure.
In a corner like a fire will be hit? Fire.
What do you mean?
Unwild shaped fire.
I'm out of wild shape, so I want to de-transform and take a second to cast polymorph and transform again.
Okay.
So I want a place where I can be 6 seconds of fire and no one freaking.
Right. Yeah, you can definitely find a back corner to be in that would be out of sight unless like the bartender comes in. Make a wisdom check. Okay. You find a spot that you're like, oh yeah, this will be perfect, and then it kind of, just before you transform back, it dawns on you that like, fire the Fearbog is not going to fit in this space. So you avoid like making a ruckus by knocking stuff over. It takes you a little bit longer to find a spot that works.
F it, I will go outside. I'll just... No. Is there a place or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll transform back.
Okay. Just don't worry about this. Yeah, it's fine. Nobody comes
Nice.
in while you are transforming.
Okay. I, as a snake, come out of the cellar.
Okay.
Not hiding.
So you're polymorphed, correct?
Yes.
Now, polymorph uses the mental stats of the creature.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes. So I will not be smart, and I still know what I'm doing, what I am, what are my friends.
You're just...
But I will not be smart enough to hide. Like, okay, fire, go back to sit where I need to sit and protect pet stuff. Okay, fire, and I transform.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 2, so nobody notices.
Lol.
You lucky bastard. You have another like 15-20 minutes of just sitting there by Pert's pack while he continues to have his lesson.
Munch the chicken?
Oh yeah, chicken.
Chicken.
Is it cooked?
I'm gonna say probably, but not like super spiced or anything, just some chicken.
Yeah, it's just like plain cooked chicken.
No, it's cooked. No.
Someone just boiled the chicken breast.
I buffeted it and with the tail, throw the plate of the table. I'm fully flop on the table.
You flop on the table?
Flop.
Pert, you hear the sound of a metal plate banging on the floor. Your snake is just up on a table. Everybody, jumped.
I think Pert even stops paying attention to the fight for a couple seconds to look over. Does she take advantage, or is she distracted as well?
No, she takes advantage.
And Pert gives a bit of a, well, that's obvious why that happened. Okay, I fucked myself there. And turns back to her and gives a bit of a embarrassed shrug. New companions. They always have the oddest of behaviors. I guess he doesn't like the chicken.
Huh? His loss. And yours.
And your victory. I wonder, after we're done with a couple more rounds of back and forth, have you had proper meals recently? I know that coin goes so quickly in an expensive city like this. It'd be my pleasure to at least thank you for the class with a meal somewhere. And Bert's doing this while going back into the back and forth of the fencing.
Mm-hmm. She takes a few seconds to respond. And then says, tell you what. You beat me one day, you can take me out.
Jamie, not the NPC. There was no attempt of flirting at that. It was just a attempt to get her somewhere else so he could talk to her more.
Right. She still probably took it as that.
I get you. And he laughs. Then I'll have to try harder. And he will continue a couple more passes until they're both obviously tired and done. Before at last yielding, both hands up, his blade left down against his hip. Okay. I think that, at least for me, is enough for today. I am sure you've got an interest in more business later tonight. He gestures towards the table again.
You learn quick.
I had experience with a mercenary band some years ago. It's nice to see that not all of it was wasted. And if she follows him, he goes back to the table and sits down, and he picks the plate up, scowls at the snake, grabs any of the chicken that wasn't clearly touching the floor, and munches a little bit of it, and then puts the rest of the floor chicken on the plate and pushes it to the far side of the table while drawing the snake up and coiling it around his neck just loosely.
I both because someone woke me up of my nap.
Oh.
Not fully angry, but
and Pert talks to the snake as if it understands because he doesn't know fire changed. Actually, fire, is the color pattern the same?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
fire can do it. That's
So then there's no Pert realizing something happened. And he talks to the snake, in that slightly cajoling but polite manner, oh, you're a little trickster. You cost me a point there. I was doing so well.
Were you?
And Pert laughs a little bit. I mean, better than yesterday, at least.
At least.
And Pert pulls out his book and scribbles 2 quick notes before passing it over to her. A bit of a dry smile offered. I don't know if I'll be in town much longer, but I do plan to return again at some point in the future. If I'm still here tomorrow, I would love a third lesson if you've the time. If you're busy, I do quite understand. Here is some contact information should we ever need to get in touch again.
She takes it with a bit of a raised eyebrow.
He gives a bit of a
Question.
I
How do you give contact information here?
well, that's what I was going to get to
Uh-huh.
next, but he gives a bit of a disinterested shrug. It's as if trying to indicate that he's interested in the classes and he wants to make sure that they're able to meet up at some point in the future. But if she opens the letter, she would find a question and the address of his mailbox, essentially back in Marialda. And the question is simply... It's not simply. Come on, David. If you have dealings with the children of Kelwal, I will leave you in peace. But if they're causing trouble with your contacts, I would be happy to assist in dealing with that situation. I have contacts who are trying to deal with them. And he passes her that note and gives a bit of a shrug. But regardless, I wouldn't want to detain you any longer than necessary. And he starts to collect his things, but waits to see if she looks at the note.
You do see her take a couple seconds to read the note, and then she folds it up, puts it in a pocket, and she says, "I will admit, it's nice to have a student that can actually learn."
And he bows his head. It's nice to have a teacher who doesn't delight in throwing me in the dirt.
I don't?
And he laughs. Well, my other teacher was teaching me while we were on the road, so she explicitly threw me to the ground in the dirt, probably in the muddiest patches she could find.
Wow.
Good for her.
She's a very talented fighter.
Not to interject, but logistical thing. You're asking her to write, just declaring, you're asking her to write you in Marieldo, which is weeks to the north.
No, I'm giving her a possible contact in case things go shit here. So that way...
Because the way I read it was, if you need me right now, write to me in Marieldo.
Yeah, that's how it sounded.
The way I was trying to express it was Pert doesn't have a good contact point. Oh, actually, that's a good point. He would have put two addresses, the one in Marielda, and leave a letter at the embassy for Cathanid's people, because at least an embassy is sort of a neutral point, whereas Zoe's family's home is not a neutral point. So he would have put the two addresses down.
There is a Marieldan embassy here.
Oh, okay. Then he would have put the Marielda embassy down, and that was the only thing he put down. That would be the better way of doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would have left the Marielda embassy as the address.
Sure. Okay.
And he'll collect up the snake and the other things and give her another one of those over-exaggerated bows. And again, should matters go sour, I'm sure there's always other opportunities for someone with your talents. And he gives a respectful grin and turns, flipping her gold coin. Do treat yourself to a good dinner at the very least before leaving.
How do you do a respectful grin?
Not a rakish grin?
So don't be creepy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he'll head for the door, giving the doorman another copper piece on the way out.
All right. He takes the copper piece and then just like immediately takes a step back as he notices the giant snake on your neck.
And despite that, Pert will lean in a little bit. His voice, not a whisper, but, a stage whisper. Many eyes on the door tonight? And Pert is looking around to see if he sees anyone again.
No more than usual, sir.
This person looks curious, smell interesting. I want to smell.
No.
So I reach for him.
No, don't like snakes. No, get it away from me.
Reaching, reach.
Pert will reach up and coil a hand around the snake's jaw and curl it back towards his neck again, before telling the guard, I've heard a little bit too much about some of the local problems that are going on. Hopefully they'll keep away from your door.
Just keep that snake away from my door.
Keep reaching.
Pert will start walking away, curling the
All
snake
right.
around a second time. And he's, within 20 feet, he's back to talking to Fire as if Fire was a person and not a snake. Basically just the because there's still possibly eyes around and ears around that he doesn't trust.
Mm-hmm.
You are a curious little creature. I cannot wait to find out just what's got into you.
I find something smelly interesting and start rambling away. Like, this is something snakes do. Like, you're walking and this other tree smells interesting, so I start trying to reach out for the tree while you keep walking away. So I'm like, have my body elongated, trying to reach the tree.
And Pert will continuously repeat the process of making the snake wrap around his neck to try to keep it in place.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll start to realize something's up with Fire at this point, because Fire's smarter than this. And he's supposed to be trying to be downplaying his presence. So Pert will start trying to question him more directly, with less, stage whispery talk. Do you need to eat something? Are you overtired? Do I need to get to a quiet alley so you can change back?
Absolutely no answers. It's like he's not hearing.
Then Pert will just rush to the most convenient nearby secluded alley.
Okay.
And once he's definitely got a fire-sized space in a back corner of an alley, he'll put the snake down and stomp a foot, very careful to avoid stomping near the snake. Fire! Turn back. We're done. What's up?
He's at you and trying to find a corner.
You're in the corner.
More corner.
Mm-hmm. Snake's just pushing himself up into the corner.
Yeah.
And Pert takes out the wild shroom from yesterday's supper, this morning's breakfast, and starts waving it towards the snake. Wild shroom?
Okay, I've been rolling intelligence to not get it or to see if I can get it or not. I think if Pert insists enough,
Yes.
I eventually will get the gist.
Yes.
and they
mean-
transform.
The snake does have a wisdom of 10.
Yes.
And Pert.
So I
Alright.
did.
Okay. So when you de-transform, Pert hands you the mushroom. You okay, buddy?
I never used polymorph on myself before.
Oh. I thought you were doing the other thing, the animal thing.
I did, but then I tried a thing, and then I ran out of wild shapes. I felt so dumb.
I'm
I'm so
sorry.
cold. I need some place warm.
Well, let's go back to the house then. You can tell me about what you found while we go.
Okay, it wasn't much, and on the walk back, I say what the little things I found.
Mhm.
So there's possibly a secret room there. That's good to know at least. I didn't get a lot of information out of my teacher, unfortunately. She's very guarded and did not seem to be interested in going to a secondary location.
You, friend, if these people are how I think they are, they inspire fear, and the common folk will not want to talk openly about them. Not even less if you are the first thing you're saying is that you are against them. I don't think you are in danger, but I think they will think they're in danger if they say yes to you.
I mean, I was hoping to play on their loyalty to the other cult, but apparently they're more neutral third party than hangers on.
Yeah, no. Also, the hiding place I found could be anything. Could be just I don't know. I I don't know. Whatever smuggler thing they could have going on, or could
Yes.
be related. We don't know.
If nothing else, it might give us a connection to something, but whether that's part of the Thieves Guild in the basement and they're just being stealthy and defensive about outsiders, it's something to think about in the future. I appreciate your investigation. You did well.
Thanks.
Can you still do the misty foggy thing?
Yeah. Now?
No, I would have suggested that if I had a thought of it, because then you could have tried to find the hidden door by
It's
pushing your misty form against the holes in the wall.
it's good for those kind of things, but it's pretty obvious. It's kind of hard to be stealthy about it. If in the other room there were people, they will notice me.
Yes, that would be a concern. I would hope that it wasn't just a false wall in between two rooms, but that is a risk you do play. I guess you could
I
always
didn't.
yell fire and then start going fog form through the hole.
Yeah, I didn't want to go commit full uh, uh, infiltration and use a lot of the stuff if we don't know. Like this bar can be just a bar, could be nothing to do with any of the things.
No, exactly right, Fire. You were thinking well ahead. They could be a future concern, but they don't seem to be our current problem.
Hmm.
Or at least those that were there at the moment were not strongly affiliated with either side by the feel of what you're telling me.
Well,
And unless something else comes up, I think the two of them head back to the manor.
Okay.
Yes, Fire?
no, I used to say like, well, let's go home.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just checking was, yes, you want to go home too. Alright, so we go back to Zoe's place.
All right. By the time you walk in the door, the butler informs you that dinner is currently being served.
Pert gives a bit of a shrug. I don't know. What is the proper etiquette? Should we wait? Should we have dinner brought up to our rooms? What's polite in this situation?
Are you asking the butler?
Yeah. He's the one that knows the proper etiquette.
No way, man. I'm hungry. Let's go.
I do not think anyone will mind if you are a few minutes late.
And Pert will tell Fire, I need to at least change my shirt. If you want to head in first, I will catch up with you. If not, then see you if you want to wait. I appreciate it.
I'll save you a muffin. Bye.
Bye. And Pert will go upstairs and change because he's a little bit sweaty and damp.
Yes. Is everybody else at dinner?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else I can do right now. I was waiting for more information from them before I made any decisions.
Waiting for all the reconnaissance to be done.
Yeah, and deciding if we need to do more reconnaissance or not.
Yeah.
I do have a thing for Pert to do after dinner, but it's very minor.
Okay. How about Zoe and Risman?
I assume we got back to the house in
Yes, you would be
reasonable time.
back now.
Rizwan has no reason to not be there.
I think so. He's probably just quiet.
Zoe's what?
Just quiet
Yeah.
at dinner, but quiet. Lost in her own thoughts.
What? Sorry.
I said thoughts, not sneezes.
All right. Aw. Both Nicholas and Gabrielle are there. Zoe, your father also seems quite quiet and a bit preoccupied. Your mother is the one who's mostly leading the small talk over dinner. Fire, you walk in just as the first course is being served, so you're not really that late.
Sup, Mr. N? Sup, Mr. G? I'm starving. Is there any chicken?
The chicken will be coming shortly.
Oh, cool. Hi, guys. How was all your days? Not that good.
I think Mel's kind of lost in thought too, because there's a lot he's thinking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Fire comes in and feels like a funeral or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's definitely an atmosphere in the room.
Yeah.
Rudy.
And about 5-10 minutes later, Pert shows up.
And on the opposite end of the scale, Pert enters very quietly, makes his way to his seat very quietly, gives a polite sorry, and joins dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie,
Mm-hmm.
Fire, I want to believe Fire is more wise than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Would you think that he thinks it's best for this situation trying to deviate the thoughts and try to talk about something to ease everyone's minds, or just let's have quick dinner and don't talk to anyone about anything?
I think probably more of the latter.
Okay.
Everybody's got a lot of heavy stuff on their minds. You and Fire would know.
Well, oh geez.
Yeah. Dinner is a relatively quick affair. I think the servants also pick up on the amount of tension in the room. And after dinner, you are free to do what you wish.
We all go to one room and report.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do.
Pert will make a note that he has to go to the embassy for Mary Eldon embassy for 5 minutes just to have a, in case there's any mail, redirect it here. But that's a 2-second thing, unless he gets ambushed by 16 gangsters on the way there or back. But he will stick around and wait for the group conversation to go first, because I'm relatively sure the embassy would not close early.
Okay.
Is that a safe premise?
I mean, embassies usually run business hours,
Yeah,
don't they?
they run business hours. It's like you don't go show up to the U.S. consulate in Toronto at 11 o'clock at night going, "I need in," unless it's a literal emergency. They might have an on-call person, but they
Yeah.
wouldn't be like allowing walk-ins.
Yeah, at this point, you'd probably want to go tomorrow morning.
All right.
Yeah, they most really have the option of this is an emergency, but if it's not an emergency, just come in business hours.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Then, yeah, he'll probably leave it for tomorrow.
Okay.
So Pert will give his update in his turn.
All right. So do you all share everything you've done today?
Yeah, I share everything. I share, the fact that I sussed out that they're primarily located in those 2 districts of the city.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't find much on our end, and I explained the thing.
You explain like how some of the people are like they want to see the Church of Bashaba taken down a peg.
Oh yeah, people at least they're thinking that way. I guess they're not fully grasp how bad the children's are, and they see it as another force to mangle with the evil they have already here.
And that's going to work to the children's benefit.
Yep.
To be honest, I can see where they're coming from at the very least.
It's totally understandable. I don't think it's correct, but it's understandable.
Cults often prey on people who are downtrodden, hurting, suffering. Use them.
So Zoe, how did your thing went?
Were we open about that?
That's up to you.
I literally trying to remember.
We ended.
Not.
We ended with you guys in the
Well.
carriage after the meeting.
More going to the meeting. I can't
Okay.
remember if we were open about that. Do you remember, Rizwan?
No, I don't. I
My
think,
understanding is you were keeping it secret. Sean.
yeah.
But we know you were doing something. I guess.
Apologies, I gotta go AFK for 2 minutes.
Actually, let's take a 5-minute break here.
Sounds good. Nachos.
And
Water.
Pizza.
ooh, pizza.
Nothing, because I can't make it in 5 minutes.
Oh.
So it's fucking cold outside.
I am back.
Welcome back.
I'm back. I like the picture Nibbles chose.
What picture?
For the Bard's cousin.
Ah, yeah.
Doesn't the bard play the music, not the cousin?
No, the Bard's cousin is the bass line.
Those violin.
You're coming across really muffled today, Ty.
Am I?
Yeah. I assume it's just Discord being stupid.
Like, how bad is it?
I don't hear time bad.
It's just a little muffled, not too.
Yeah, as long as you enunciate and don't mumble too much, I think it'll be fine.
As long as you aren't Ty, it'll be fine.
Oh.
I'm back, sorry.
That's okay. It's a good time for a break anyways. I need to use the bathroom.
How
I'm
it goes.
so happy not in that awful job.
Yeah.
That's important.
Oh my god, that was so awful. And now seeing the comparison is like, oh my god.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you've got enough work that you are able to leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always get anxious when it's like, I hate my job, but I don't have anywhere else to go.
Oh, I
So
feel
it's
very
like-
glad.
Yeah, like being stuck in that sort of almost impossible position sucks. Which is why I'm thankful as hell for my job. Like, I lucked the hell out. Like, sure, I'm busy between May and October, but I'm literally getting paid right now to play video games all day and take 3 calls.
Yeah.
You know, and work about 24 tickets that come in during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this past week I worked like from 8 to 8, something like that, but with a lot of resting in between, like playing games in between and even having a nap on time to time.
Yeah, that's
Like,
one of those
no-
what Cricket does as a composer. She just works at her schedule and
Yeah, exactly.
does like voice lessons on the side.
And it's like, hey, I need your input on that this mail. Okay, I'll answer it. And hey, I need this. I say, hey, I need this info. Okay, and by the end of the week, I did this and this and that. So, okay, we're doing fine. But no more restrictions than that. So it's cool.
Is everyone back?
Nibbles?
Do we have any nibbles?
Wow, Ty, that's a list.
Back.
I don't need them all. Just I figure so that way you don't have to go looking for it.
I mean,
Welcome
I do
back,
appreciate
Nibbles.
this. Welcome back. I like the picture you chose, Nibbles.
The old octobase.
Is that Princess Peach?
Looks like it.
Where?
If it's not Peach, it's Peach inspired. Art channel.
The art channel.
Peach.
Yeah, that's Peach. That's like Russian Princess Peach.
That's cute.
All right. Back to the game. Rizwin and Zoe.
Yeah.
Get your story straight.
Okay. So Zoe spills all the beans from her checking to make sure her sister's friends are safe and not trying to take advantage.
Okay.
Okay.
What, you want me to get detailed?
Are you leaving out everything else?
Yes.
Are you trying to hide that fact from us because we know you went out somewhere?
Do you?
Do we?
I'm pretty sure they knew that Rizwin and Zoe went somewhere. I don't think they know anything more than that.
If you did that last night, then where were you today?
You were out.
We talked.
Camille was only out for the morning, I do believe.
Yeah, I only was out for like an hour.
Okay, sorry. This is not me trying to be sneaky, and I really am trying to remember what happened last week. Or
I went first thing in the morning to go to the embassy. That was the first thing on my mind. Your meeting with the cleric wasn't until like mid-afternoon, afternoonish.
Mm-hmm.
And the bird thing was late.
Yeah, first thing was late.
oh, then she explains about the cleric wanting our support and saying that 2 things need to be burnt out of the city.
Something, the enemy of my enemy?
Is still my enemy.
But it's also a useful tool.
They're not gonna be a tool. They're trying to use us as a tool for them.
And if it gets the children out of the city, then you had not tried to fight 2 fires at once, you're fighting 1.
Besides, we were gonna do it anyway. They just point us in a direction.
Not saying fight them both at the same time, but both need to be burnt out of the city.
I agree.
Does not sound healthy on either front.
The church obviously isn't in the business of annihilating families and letting demons loose in a city. So I would say 1 is slightly more urgent than the other.
I don't disagree with you, and that's what I was saying. But both need to be burnt out of this place.
So Firewood asked, so did he give you a direction? Like a place where to find them?
Well, I'm assuming that, for lack of a better, since it's impossible to roleplay since we don't all remember everything, you told us everything that was mentioned during your meeting? Like, who the man who was killed was the sort of head of the cult in the city, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a lead.
I still have that question. I don't know if I heard correctly.
So, Fire, you remember the man when we were walking?
No, that part I know, but did Zoe said that the other person said what places need to be burned?
No,
Ah,
no, that's Quest and mishearing. So we can investigate the man who died as a lead into the cult. We know where they operate. We can go investigate those areas. From what it sounds like, this group, this duelist club, is tangentially aware of them, but probably not directly connected, and are just traditional shady criminal types. So I would suggest maybe we wander around Dryden in the Stumps tomorrow and see what information we can get about the man who died, or this wizard who might be in league with them.
Hey, Tammy,
Uh-huh.
the man who died was not in this Dryden of the Stumps, was he?
No.
He was in the good part of town, wasn't he?
Middle
He
of the
was.
fountain.
So he passes that information on.
That seems like a good place to start then.
I suppose it was put there because someone else of the organization will see it.
It's a public place and it's visible, and people in higher society gossip, so word will spread. People in more humble areas of the city tend to keep to themselves.
It's an open message that we're in charge here.
Well, do we know where to go then?
I would assume we ask around about the person and then see where that leads us. If we get nowhere, then we can look at the Stumps and Dryden.
Do we want to look at the body? If the body hasn't already been dealt with.
If he was killed by the cult, not the cult, he was killed by the Church of Bashaba, chances are it was inflicted magically, maybe. If they're the Church of Misfortune. It's like, oops, you slipped on some ice and broke your neck. You can try to find the body, and I don't know. I don't know if this city has a morgue or not. Probably does.
I'm just trying to decide if there's any value in the risk of trying to look into that detail or not.
I don't know if we will come with something if we go that route.
How long can we delay your boat?
As long as necessary.
Without it looking obvious?
No one knows we're leaving aside from us. And trust me, my country is more than willing to turn a blind eye if it leads to information on the cult.
I think if we go to the slums, we need to go all together and be prepared for the worst. Zoe, can you, or your dad maybe? No, you wouldn't ask your dad. I don't know, person with political influence. Like, just get the info about this person who died, like where he live and whatnot.
It would depend on. It would depend on who they are. Like if they didn't have standing in high class, then there's a good chance people wouldn't know of him. But if he was in that area, then he probably has some standing.
Maybe we could find out where his house is. Maybe if he has a relative or not. Maybe investigate the house.
I would say first step, find information on this guy, and if his house is, I don't know, in Dryden or the Stumps, we go there. And then, plan B is we just go to that area in general and start asking questions and making our presence known. Worst case, we aggravate the cult like they're stirring a hornet's nest and they attack us.
I think worst case, we let them know we're looking for them and they hide better.
I think I need to, at the very least, try to look like somebody else in this scenario then, because while I don't know what my fencing instructor's connection is to the groups in the city, she's at least a potential lead, and there's not a lot of Vidalcan around here, so I kind of stand out. I mean, more than normal.
Bert, you're as close to a living shadow as I've ever seen. I think you're fine.
When I'm being stealthy, yes, but when we're walking the streets, knocking down doors, Pert will probably spend 2 or 3 hours after this meeting just trying
you've
to...
already indicated to this woman that you're antithetical to the cult.
Yeah.
That would just be in character for you to go and knock down doors then if this cult is something that you're concerned about. That's not out of character. Why would you hide that?
Because I have a connection to your house, to both your house and to Zoe's house, and that might lead trouble back here, especially after we leave town if we don't deal with everything.
I mean, the cult is already probably views Zoe's family as a problem as is.
Both of them, yes.
What the rest think we should do? Rizwin? Ama? Zoe?
I think investigating the man that died is probably the best lead we've got so far.
So he just reminds people of the brother who was taken in by the cult, and the fact that they're trying to bring magic to everyone.
And does Zoe tell us about how her mother might have made a deal with the cult, ?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, I just wanted to check on that one or not.
The cult. It was the church.
Yeah. Sorry, it's the other cult, but yeah,
Let's for our internal
yes,
consistency as players refer to the church of Bashaba as the church.
yeah, I get what you were saying.
There's another church.
This isn't confusing at all.
So, Zoe, you say that bringing magic to the people, what, like, it's a good thing? It's a bad thing?
It'd be like giving every single person in the city a loaded crossbow.
Giving the cult anything is not a good thing.
But I don't understand the point you're trying to make on saying that. Remember that the cult is giving magic to the people.
It's the carrot they use to draw people in. Come join us. We can give you power. We can make you important. We can uplift your life and make you better than you were.
It's like giving a bully a dagger and then pointing them at the back of someone without any defenses.
You know that meme where it's like something is said and then there's the picture of the puppet looking one way and then looking trying to pretend like he's not looking the other way at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's Zoe right now. That's how Zoe got magic.
Yeah, well, the point is, it's incredibly dangerous if you're not responsible. Just like handing a murderer a crossbow and saying, "Here, free crossbow," or handing someone who has a grudge against their neighbor a crossbow. It's a tool that can be used for good or evil, and people without proper training or the right ability to handle that type of power are going to misuse it.
Discipline.
Exactly. You hand someone a sword and they don't know how to use it, they're going to cut themselves or swing it around wildly and decapitate their sister.
Okay. So, how do we investigate this person who died?
Do we have a name for him, Jimmy?
The Prophet and Terrace referred to him as having called himself the Master. That is all you have.
Can we talk with like the guards to know if they know the name of the person?
That's probably the best bet. They're the ones who took care of it. If we're asking the city guards, looks at Rizwin, you've kind of talked to them before. Maybe you can get some information out of them.
I can give it a shot.
Well, let's do that tomorrow then, and see what we get out from that.
Yeah, and then if we get a lead, follow that lead. If not, then drag in the stumps.
You hear a knock at the door.
I'll go over and open it.
It is one of the maids. She is Miss Abigail in there.
I'm going to step aside to let Zoe out.
We go then to the young lady.
My apologies. I have a letter for you.
Oh, these never go well for Zoe. She takes the letter.
And the maid kind of gives you a little bow and leaves.
Thank you. On a side note, is this a maid Zoe would know, or is it just a maid that's now in the house?
I think she's new.
Before
Jamie.
she leaves.
Go ahead, sorry.
Before she leaves, Zoe asks what her name is. I know it doesn't matter. Just Zoe says thank you and uses her name.
Okay. She
Okay.
seems quite happy.
Sorry. Conspiratorial-minded David, this was a DM didn't name the character because it's not important, or...
Yes, one of the two.
One of the two.
It wasn't any character pause, it was a DM pause.
That was a DM pause.
Okay, that was what I was... Sorry, poisoned letters have appeared a lot in books I've read.
Mm-hmm.
But that
So
pause.
now that Ty is very paranoid.
Not really.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I know what it is now that I've thought
Yeah.
of it half a second.
Mhm.
She opens the letter.
Okay. Reading it over, this is a letter from Dulabella, who promised to send you one, detailing a meeting with the wizard in the city.
Oh, right. The one who's in league with the cult.
This was not the what I was expecting.
Not necessarily that wizard, right?
No, it's that wizard.
We don't know for sure, but it's that wizard.
So the letter says that he would be willing to meet you in 5 days' time. There is a list of conditions, which includes taking a blinded carriage, no weapons allowed, you should be alone, and you must wear a blue dress.
That's not creepy at all.
If that's not giving yourself a sacrifice for the cult, I don't know what it is.
See, I was going to argue from the opposite direction. The blue dress thing is just the only black M&Ms in a bowl in the green room thing. It's the let's check this one detail to make it easier to not have to check every other detail on the list.
So Zoe was told this guy is very unique.
Uh-huh.
So Zoe shows this to everyone.
Oh, hell no.
Would you like to take a pet snake with you?
No, that would put fire at risk.
But it would reduce you being at risk.
Is there a world where you go?
Especially given what we suspect about this person's connections, these
Sure.
demands do not seem safe.
Well, no. Also, Zoe just holds up her hands. You can't make me unarmed.
So this is David asking questions because he's trying to remember details. The person that was trying to spread the cult back in Marialda, that was the friend of
We don't know that.
Did they actually get away, or did we arrest them at the end there?
Nope.
The friend of the artificer.
We have no connection that person's involved with the cult. They
had
have
magic.
very similar. They also have a very similar line. This can be yours, I believe, is something that Ezra used.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's why I'm making this connection, and I was just wondering, did they ever get arrested, or because I remember we did the stakeout thing.
No,
Yeah.
they didn't get arrested.
He talked to Caffriel, and then he left.
Okay. Have we had any description of the wizard other than that he's persnickety?
Which wizard?
The one that you just got the letter from. The persnickety one.
So, is it signed, Jamie?
It is signed by Dulabella.
Dang it!
So, Zoe, you can't be unarmed. You realize you'd be walking into the lair, air quotes, of someone who specializes in dealing with magic.
Yeah, I think they will know what a fuckus is.
I cannot be unarmed.
I mean, it doesn't say come unarmed, it says no weapons.
Also, Zoe's strongest attack does not require focus.
I don't think you'll be in armies much
Not
of a relief here. Sorry.
not disagreeing with that. Just I'm trying to be open with what the information we now have is.
Mhm. Well,
5 days.
it's 5 days from now. I think we have a lot of time to fuck up something before that happened.
Worst case, I have a spell that lets me locate an object within 1 mile. So it keeps something on her that I'm familiar with. I can try to find it. And if we stay close to her carriage, we could always track her.
I mean, I'm not quite ready to go in as a scapegoat.
I'm not saying I'm building contingencies.
Sacrificial lamb, not scapegoat. But I mean, we could turn Riswin into something small to come with. If she wants.
Yes, but if he's a wizard, he will be able to see through it.
We could turn Rizwin into Zoe.
I can do that.
Can you?
Can you?
Polymorph?
I think I'm reading Polymorphos too much.
Yes.
I think you
Not
are.
shape change. That's very different.
Because polymorph says an animal, so a human is basically an animal. So I can give the form of a human.
I will also remind you out of character that Rizwin is already a shape changer and cannot be shape changed again.
We've
Then-
already heard that to turn you into a flying creature.
Yes.
Yeah, that's polymorph, not shape change.
I don't have shape change. I don't know what it is. I'm polymorph people.
Regardless, back on track. We have 5 days. Let's get the information we have. Let's find what we can first. If we don't have to deal with this, then we won't.
Agreed.
Agree.
I suspect we might run into him during our investigation anyway.
Entirely possible.
Ooh, I have an idea.
Uh-huh.
No, wait. I have an idea. Help me out. I can ask Mother Nature something.
I have an idea. Go ahead.
I can ask yes or no questions. No, wait.
Are you looking at commune with nature?
Yeah, it's not what I'm confusing it with commune.
Yeah, commune with nature can give you different things.
Yeah, I'm confusing it with commune. Sorry.
I think what would be helpful is to distill this down. Our immediate goal is to root out and destroy the children of Kural within this city, yes?
It is the primary goal right now, yes.
I think our two avenues of moving forward with this are investigating the death of the master or trying to trace down that brother.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps
yeah.
both.
I think both. I think we can do both tomorrow.
So I realized I kind of broke this the first night, but I figured they didn't have set up. But we, pointing at Riswin and herself, cannot leave till that ship is gone.
I don't think we are going through that rule anymore.
Again, they would not risk upsetting the ruler of the city by taking unilateral action within it.
Probably.
Probably. If they saw a rampaging 200-foot demon, they might have a different opinion. But we're in a city of presumably, what, 1 million people? A little less than that?
Yeah, a little less than that.
It's a calculated risk, but I think it's a risk worth taking.
I do have one more person I could contact to try and get more information.
Who's that?
Biggest gossip at the party, the meeting of the minds yesterday. He probably has information on everything that has been going on in the city.
That would be a good lead.
Well, I'd say, again, first step, let's investigate the death of this guy, see where that leads us, and then we can branch off from there.
I agree.
I will continue to attend my dueling classes then and see if I can't get any further information as hopefully she lets a percentage of her guard down.
You know, they might be a good investment for the future.
If nothing else.
If we deal with the children next time when came from for the church, they could be more eager to help us.
Or they might just be eager to work for money.
Oh yeah, people do that.
She's had no concerns about the coin I've offered so far.
But regardless, I feel like we should all stay on the same page with this for now. The more we make waves, the more likely it is the cult will realize we're here, and if we're separated, might try to take us out.
Okay, I think we're in agreement. Now get out of my room. I want to sleep.
So, does anyone else have anything to bring up? This is me asking out of character.
Not something at the moment.
Missed.
You said nope.
Riz Wayne?
Out of character, there's something that Nibbles wants Zoe to do, but Rizwin would absolutely not bring that up.
It's coming. Don't worry about it.
Well, on that note, then I think we should just break for the evening and try to get some rest.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like tomorrow might be a busy day. And my cat's getting into something. I'll be right back.
I think, despite Kamel's words, Pert is going to try to, with the assistance of one of the butlers, get together a different outfit so he at least looks like a different Vidalcan.
Okay.
Not gonna try to walk a foot shorter or anything stupid. Just slightly different dress sense and the like.
Okay. But that's for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody wants to do tonight?
Why?
Yes. I'm gonna do something small, so if you let me do it, and then you can go on whatever trip. I want to cast Commune with Nature.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity. 300 feet around me. Is there any fiend?
Sorry, just to interrupt real quick. It should be 3 miles, because you are not in a cave or other underground natural setting.
Thank you. Yeah, what he said.
Oh, 3 miles. Okay, give me a second here.
All right, 5-minute break.
And you also, it's not just fiends. You celestials, fey, fiends, elementals, or undead.
Yeah, my planning was as for location of fiends, location on undead, and I think that's
Something else.
that's the part that I need.
I'm back. Sorry.
You sure you don't want to know if there's any buildings in the area? Yeah, I need a minute to think about this.
What's happening?
Wow.
Sorry.
I randomly cast communicate with nature and ask if there are any fiend nearby.
How big is 3 miles?
3-mile radius?
Yeah.
5 kilometers.
5 kilometers is a big city, not an enormous city, but a big city.
Like one end of Guelph to the other is about 10 kilometers.
And what is it? Knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subjects. What do you want to know if there's any within 3 miles?
It says, for example, you could determine the location of a powerful undead in the area, or a fiend. That's my objective: undead or fiend.
Or the influence from other planes of existence.
But you're looking for. You are specifically looking for the location of a powerful fiend?
You need a specific answer, right?
Yes. Or are you looking for... Are there fiends within this area? Or is there... Or, like, how many fiends are in this area? Like, give me a more specific question.
Are any fiends in the area, and if they are, where? I think if you wanted to, one question is, where will be fiends in my area? Send Tinder.
You sense 2.
God damn it.
And you want to know where they are?
Yeah, more or less.
Oh, where is Zoe's house in terms of the city? I gotta think for a minute.
You need a
So
map.
I'm not gonna give you like, I'm gonna give you a direction.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not gonna give you a point on a map.
yeah, no, like that way, very far, or that way, not that far.
Within 3 miles to the southwest. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. One of them is west and a little bit north of you, kind of like to the edge of your radius, which you would know to be the poorer areas.
Okay.
One is more or less due north of you.
Okay. I think Fire panics a bit and rushes to inform Camille what did he find out. I don't know what to do with this information, but it's information.
That makes sense.
What? Did you do that while we were all around, or is it just you and Camille that know it?
I did it when we were all in our rooms out of curiosity. And now I'm going to Camille's room to say, hey, I don't know what this means.
What's to the north, Jamie? What region of the city?
Like the merchant district?
Tell the others. I'll tell some of them. You tell the rest. So we should at least be prepared if we're going to that area to know that there's stuff in that area that could be dangerous.
Okay. I thought about doing the same about Undead next day, or maybe ask more information about the Fiend later. But I can do only one per day. It's my big spell of the day.
You just clapped on the shoulder. You did good. Get
Okay.
rest. Go tell the others to rest.
I go and tell the others with a face of, I don't know what's going on.
So I'm not saying go do this now. Just maybe go for a little walk and pinpoint this location.
We can do that, yes.
How long does this last, Quasta?
The spell? Not a lot. No, it's like,
It's 1 minute.
I
Yeah.
assume
No,
multiple
the
casting.
commune with nature is instantaneous. You instantly gain knowledge of up to 3 facts about the city or the area.
Yeah, but
So it's
that
just
doesn't.
a point in time.
Yeah. So you know where they were when you cast that spell.
yes.
It doesn't stay.
We could potentially use it to triangulate, but they would require 3 days worth of spells.
And that's assuming they don't move.
It's assuming they don't move out of their areas, yeah.
Well, we know they're there.
So did you get anything from the other 2 facts?
Can
Yeah,
I
you
get
get-
more?
You gain up to 3 facts.
Yeah, what else did you ask? Or did you just sort of stop there in panic?
So one of the facts is this, and I have 2 more questions?
Yes!
The other is the same for undead.
There are no undead.
Okay, cool. How powerful they are, I guess, related to, I don't know, me? To have a point of reference?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Maybe we'll get back to you with an answer at a later date.
I would...
But like, it's a small thing. It's more of my punchline. It's like a demon lord.
Right.
Yeah, are we dealing with a demon lord or an imp?
Somewhere in the middle for both of them. It is difficult for me to sort of give you an answer on that with the difference between player and monster
Yeah, I know.
ratings.
So it's not terribly weak, but it's not astronomically strong.
Yes.
We were fighting it, it wouldn't just ruffle stump us.
Yes.
So like roughly CR 7-ish, maybe?
I don't think we can get a number, but
It's above a CR2, I'll tell you that.
okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not that big.
I mean, a CR20 is above a CR2.
Yeah, I think generally, if you're trying to convey information to players in that manner, you can tell them if the thing's CR is higher or lower than their level.
Oh, I see. I don't actually
Well-
know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, you could do whatever the hell you want, but that's
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what that means.
Or you could say in relation to things we fought previously.
I would say you would know that both of them would be stronger than the strongest of the demons that you fought in Marielda.
They weren't demon lords, but they didn't wimps either. Okay.
I mean, we've also
I-
gotten stronger since then.
Yeah, that's still not what I would call reassuring information.
No, but
I think it was meant to be reassuring information.
it's and on the contrary, I know I'm not worried about just some imps. Okay, Fire tried to sleep tonight.
Okay.
Jamie,
Uh-huh.
have I been feeling any of those feelings I had when I was in Marielda? I just haven't really had a chance to think about that until today.
Make a wisdom check.
I don't know how well that goes.
You take some time tonight to meditate and try to suss out those feelings. And there you do get this sense of, I guess, an underlying tension that you're not sure is yours. That being said, you also have a lot of tense feelings right now. There is nothing that is pushing you in one particular direction or another, just sort of an underlying sense of something's not right.
Yeah, there's something rotten in the state of Denmark.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I will attempt to sleep as well.
Anyone else?
We know two people want to do something. I'm waiting for the others to decide if they're going to bed or not.
Pert does the outfit thing and is off to sleep, probably by the time Fire comes to say hi. So Pert says, "Oh, well, shit," and then goes to bed.
Okay.
List?
Almost in a pile with Melis.
No.
Adorable. Hey, Rizwin. We still need to tell our dragon friend.
Okay, I'll keep watch.
Yeah, no, you're
Mm.
We need to see if this works with somebody else. Maybe you'll get lucky and it doesn't work and I have to go. And then she's gonna kill me.
There's a brief look of hope on Rizwin's face.
So Zoe will wait till it's later at night to make sure the dragon is asleep.
Uh-huh.
And then Rizwin went lay down on the bed.
Rizwin lays down.
The small grin of joy that she actually got Rizwin to sleep on the bed, or to lay on the bed, because it was her bed she was directing at.
I'll note, Nibble said Rizwan laid down, didn't say on the bed.
I heard bed.
I didn't.
Why are you playing
Anyways.
devil's advocate?
Because I like the interplay.
Yes, but saying that after I already let out my joke, my ploy is mean. Because now if I try to make sure it's in the bed, it will be crispy.
I mean, I could have misheard. That's entirely possible.
Where's Wisdom laying down?
Where she was directed to.
Yes!
It's part of a spell. She's not actually going to spend the night here.
Yes, it will be 8 hours. It'll be 8 hours. So Zoe takes a moment, thinks about the spell, make sure Rizwin is comfortable. Pillows, that sort of thing. And then cast the dreaming spell on her with our dragon friend as the direction.
Okay. So Rizwin, as As Zoe casts the spell, you feel the pull towards sleep. And why don't you tell me what the dream looks like?
I don't think Rizwin is actively trying to go somewhere, so she probably actually just appears in Ashala's lair.
Okay.
It's like, that's where she is. I'm going to meet her.
Right. Then you appear in the front room that the six of you stood in.
Oh, no.
Couple
She
months ago?
appears outside.
Ah, outside.
Sorry.
You are outside the house.
Yes. And I think after a minute or two, she looks around, and if no one appears,
You wait a couple of minutes, and then you hear the door open. And out walks Ashala, looking around, seemingly a little confused, sees you on her front lawn. Ew.
I will at this point mention that she notices Rizwin is rather shorter than she was in real life. She's about maybe 2.5 feet tall.
I'll take a wisdom roll.
No, this is a subconscious thing. This is not something she's doing intentionally.
She looks down at you for a couple of seconds and then says, "Having some problems, are we?"
Yes, they, Hold on a second.
It's okay.
Yes, the, Platinum Army has made their way to our shores. And she kind of looks to see if there's a look of recognition or if that is something that she's never heard of, basically.
Let me roll for her. Three is int. She gives you kind of a blank look. Am I supposed to know what that is?
Well, across the sea, at least, I had not heard of them on these shores in my short time. They exist to hunt down creatures that they deem to be against the natural order or inherently evil. And I find it remarkably coincidental, given their presence here very shortly after an ancient black dragon was seen flying through the skies of Marielda.
Well, if they would like to kill me, they're welcome to try.
Well, they are practiced. They exterminated all of my blood some 30 years ago, 35 years ago.
Well,
And my sire was well over 1,200 years old.
well,
And
they obviously didn't get all of it.
she's very much taking
Yeah.
a child in the presence of the headmaster who is angry. Like, she's very abashed, maybe would be the right word.
Mm-hmm. I suppose it doesn't hurt to keep it in mind. Do be careful. If they find one dragon on these shores, they're more likely to go looking for another.
I will stay as far away as possible.
Good. Was there anything else?
No, just a warning. And I think she turns around to leave the natural way instead of just ending the spell. She doesn't. She's like, I don't know what to do.
You hear the door open, and she walks inside. But you don't hear it close. You walk away to the end of the clearing.
Yeah, I think she gets near the edge and is looking up. Is do I have to climb out of here now? What do I do?
I don't know. What do you do?
I think in the absence of any other outside information, she does probably start climbing.
Low.
Good.
Make a wisdom check.
Wouldn't that be an athletics check?
Sure, make an athletics check. I don't know if 14's good enough to climb a rock wall unaided.
Probably not, honestly.
Probably not.
You know it's cold in this.
I will submit that she maybe gets,
No, I haven't touched
I don't know,
it. So yes.
20 feet up and
Well,
falls
it's
on her
supposed to
ass.
be minus
Yeah.
35 tonight. Minus 36.
I has a question.
Mhm.
This one's in a dream world. What's your natural reaction to trying to fly
Yep.
and take over?
On the plus side, before I go to work, yeah, when it gets
I
this
don't
cold
think
and the
so.
furnace is running more, it'll be drying out the air a
Well,
bunch.
I don't know. Is that maybe a subconscious thing that would
Had a
happen
shower earlier and used hand lotion
when she starts falling?
on face, hands, legs, all that shit, and yeah.
Make a wisdom. Now you can make me a wisdom check.
Hey kid.
But yes, at least on the plus
only
side,
reaction
you'll
you
have gone
have
to
is
work
panic.
2 times before I need to take it at night.
And then
I
And
I
you'll
think
only
with
have
a
been sitting
wisdom check
for
that low,
5
she
or so
probably
hours
lets
after
out
you
an
get off work
undignified
before I
yelp
go
of
to
some
work on
kind.
Tuesday. On the plus side for you, I'll have warmed it up before you have to go to work
She's
in the
all
morning.
flustered.
Someone's
And it'll only have been
iPad
sitting for
Kino.
like 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm. You hear from across the clearing. You're going to climb your way out of this spell, are you?
I don't really have any better ideas. And she'll, I guess, sort of bashfully walk over and say, "You know more about magic than I do."
It's very true. Though, I haven't quite come across something like this. This is a dream. But not.
I confess very limited knowledge. This is Zoe's spell.
Hmm.
I think she sent me because she was too afraid to come herself.
I wonder why.
I don't
And
know.
she
She
didn't
says that
tell you how to end it?
very quietly under her breath. No.
Hmm. Ashala closes her eyes. Do you think a 14's high enough to force yourself awake?
What's your
What?
standard spell save DC? Zoe?
$17.
So probably not.
Yeah, I would say like an average difficult thing is probably at least a 16.
Mm-hmm. She opens her eyes with a bit of a sour expression. Well, I suppose we're stuck here until she decides to end it.
Lol.
I think Rizwan shrinks like another inch.
Suppose I'll get some reading done.
How can you? Never mind.
Rizwan's too big of a coward to actually try and do anything in the dream.
Oh yeah.
With Ashala?
Does she, like, when she says that, does she just turn around and start walking inside?
Yeah.
Oh, I think Rizwan will follow her and, like, just watch what she does.
Mm-hmm. Ashal walks in, opens a book, sees that it's blank, and goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
How long has that book been there? Because I would say, if anywhere in the world a book would be a little more static, it would probably be one that's been there for like 100 years.
It was on a like a night table or a end table.
Nah, okay, yeah.
So not sitting on a shelf for 150 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we not inside your head?
Well, presumably she cast the spell on you.
So this would be my memories of this place. Do I, from when I was here before, is there a door that I never went through?
Yeah, there's a couple.
We'll just pick one at random and walk over to it and open it.
You open a door to a room you've never seen before, a very luxurious looking bedroom, and from behind you.
Pleased with her deduction, I think she will turn around and say, I was never in there.
No. No, you weren't.
And then, picking up on the mood in the room, she will just quickly close the door.
Ashala just looks around her house, and drums her fingers on a bookshelf. Well, I suppose if this is a dream. And then just walks outside.
Rizwan follows.
And outside you see a very large black dragon. She looks back at you and says,
I think there is another squeak.
Uh-huh. And she flaps her wings and takes off.
She like right after she says coming, or
Yeah.
sort of. I guess Rizwan would just yell then. I can't fly.
I thought you said this was a dream.
And I guess at that point Rizwan will transform and like wing broken. Mm-hmm.
By this point, the black dragon has ascended beyond that black barrier that sits above the top of this big hole in the ground, and you can't see her anymore. And you're just alone outside of her place as a dragon, broken wing.
Mm-hmm. I really don't think that that's something that she would even think to try to get past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that has been her life for her entire life. So
yeah.
No.
Yeah, and there's just this lonely minute of being stuck down there. And then you hear the wing flaps, and the black dragon slowly descends through that barrier onto the grass, blowing you back a little bit. You see her, like, roll her eyes so hard that her head rolls too.
Interestingly, for any observers, the size difference between 2.5 foot tall Rizwan and would you say like 5'8" Ashala
Yeah,
is about the same as an ancient black dragon to a young red dragon.
yeah. She just rolls her eyes and says, "Get on."
I think Rizwan starts walking towards her and then realizes, and changes back into the humanoid form.
Mm-hmm.
And then very gingerly climbs aboard.
Do not speak of this.
She makes the zipper mouth movement.
And the powerful wings below you start to beat. And you ascend through that black barrier, farther up over the trees. And you are flying.
After a minute or two, I think, despite herself, she starts enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
She probably does the, like, arms out, king of the world thing.
Yeah. You think Ashala might have said something, but the wind just snatches the words away and you can't quite grasp what it was. She flies east. You pass over the city of Marielda. You follow the river farther east, farther still, until you see the ocean. And a smallish city sitting at the mouth of that river. And she turns north, flying along the coast. Just sort of enjoying flying out in the open again. You think you see an island in the distance, even farther to the east. You follow the coast north, then it wraps around back to the west. A few small, like, fishing villages. One that looks a little bigger than the rest. You keep going west, a little bit south as she turns away from the ocean. And it's just this endless expanse of forest. And it just kind of, you just kind of remember that thing that Fire and Em are supposed to be searching for is in that forest somewhere.
Just looking down, do I see anything?
Make a perception check.
Tree.
Ty, are you holding the spell for the entire 8 hours?
So, there's nothing that says I have to hold the spell.
Okay.
No, it's not a concentration spell. The people inside are supposed to be able to just end it at will, but this one doesn't know that.
That's true.
So
And
yes, it
Rizman's
is.
the one the spell's cast on, so.
Yeah.
So
It's basically they're just stuck here.
yeah. So towards the end of the 8 hours, you see in the distance, kind of south and west from where you are, it looks kind of like something is casting a shadow on the forest. It's just like this big black spot.
I think she will just point and yell at an appropriate volume for the sound the wind is making. What's that?
Ashala turns her head up towards you. I don't know. She starts to fly closer towards it, and you get a little bit closer. And you can see that it's not something casting a shadow, but the trees are black. They almost look like they're dripping.
Can I tell if it looks like the goop that we've encountered?
From the distance you're at, it kind of looks like it. It's hard to tell for sure. But that is where the spell ends. As you both are flying ever closer, you just wake up.
Ew.
I don't think she wakes up screaming, but there's like a definite audible transition from being asleep to not asleep.
Mm-hmm.
You spent 8 hours in the comfy bed.
I assume it felt like 8 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Is Zoe awake?
Zoe, go through. Hey, Jamie, can we rewind 8 hours?
Sure.
Zoe's gonna go find her mother.
Okay.
boy.
So, yep. Once Rizwin is asleep,
Mm-hmm.
Abby makes sure she's comfortable, tucked in, and all that. Stills herself and goes to her mother's room and starts knocking on the door.
All right.
If-
Your mother is already in her nightgown when she answers the door. Oh, Abigail, come in.
Zoe steps in and makes sure the door's shut behind her and seems nervous and fidgety and a little worried.
Mm-hmm. Is something the matter?
I was summoned for lunch today
Oh,
with the thing. What was his name?
the prophet and Terrace.
With the prophet in Terrace.
Oh. And how was that?
Awful. He was making comments about you and how my birth was a fortunate one.
Abigail. Lots of people make comments about me. And you. And all of us. That's what we do, we gossip. And if there's anybody to never believe, it is that man.
Zoe's looking, Abigail's taking a moment and just her hand is kind of running up and down the other arm, looking down at her feet, just that picture of nervousness, and she shifts around.
Abigail?
I'm thinking at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I normally can tell when people are lying to me, Mother, and it didn't feel like that from him. Does the church have something to do with my birth?
She is silent for a few seconds.
Mother, if the answer was no, you would instantly say that.
Perhaps we should sit down.
Where is there to sit in this room?
There's There's a couple of chairs. And like a daybed.
So we have. This is why you should not have two names for one character.
Mm-hmm.
He goes and sits on the edge of a chair, and her hands are in her lap, fidgeting with each other.
Mm-hmm. She sits in a chair next to yours, and she places her hands onto yours and squeezes them a little bit.
Abby looks at her mother, mixture of hopefulness and pleading with her, but not saying anything.
Do you know why I was married to your father?
Same as all families marry together to try and pull power together or curry favors.
Yes. But we believed that I could not bear children.
So
My parents arranged the marriage knowing this so that the Von Edel line would end with Nicholas and myself.
Yep. Zoe looks like she's trying to say like three things at once, and nothing comes out.
I was angry at my family for a long time. Nicholas was nice. He was everything I could ever want. And I was a weapon against him. And I know I haven't. I did want to be a mother. And so I asked anyone I could think of, including the church. The truth is, Abigail, I don't know. I don't know who it was that answered my prayers. For a long time, I thought that it was the Church of Fortune.
Has something changed your mind?
Something did change. Guinevere. Guinevere was born. She was born, and she touches your horns. And sort of stops whatever she was going to say. I just can't be sure. Truthfully, I don't really want to know.
He just looks down at her lap for a moment and well, maybe you only have one fortunate daughter.
I have two wonderful, beautiful daughters. And fortune has nothing to do with it. I'm sure. She says she's sure, but her face doesn't say that. She gives you a hug.
Zoe returns the hug, but it's not. It is not a Zoe hug.
Mm-hmm. She brushes the hair out of your face and looks at you. Whoever it was, I'm not sorry that they gave you to me.
But what if I'm just another weapon against this family?
Abigail, you're making your own way in the world already. I wasn't about to let myself be used like that, and I know you aren't either. You're much stronger than I am.
Abby just nods her head up and down. I think she goes in for another hug, and this time it's more normal for her.
Mm-hmm.
I should let you go to sleep, Mother.
All right. She sees you out, bids you good night.
I think once that's done, and because she doesn't actually have to pay attention to the spell, and the reason I check that is because Zoe would not be in the mood, would not be able to concentrate on the spell at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to her sister's room and crawls in bed with her.
Okay.
If need be, she will teleport through a locked door.
The door is not locked. As you're sort of moving the covers over, you hear a very sleepy Abby?
Sorry, Rizwin's taking my bed.
Okay. And she just rolls over and keeps sleeping.
Zoe is hugging on to Gwen like she's
Mm-hmm.
a stuffed animal.
Aww.
So Rizwin wakes up by herself.
She is momentarily disoriented. Disoriented?
Disoriented.
Extra syllables.
Mhm.
And then, after collecting herself, moves to a more comfortable location and just sleeps the rest of the night.
Mhm. All right. Anything else before the night is out?
Not for me.
Okay.
Alice goes hunting.
So you all wake up in the morning. Zoe, you wake up to a little puddle of drool on your forearm from Gwen.
No, also you.
You got over the sleep drooling thing.
Shut up. I assume everybody eventually wakes up, makes their way down to breakfast.
Breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody not joining for breakfast?
I think by the time the others are up, Pert's already gone to the embassy and returned.
Okay. So you are back for breakfast. There is no letter waiting for you.
Yeah, Pert just leaves them instructions that if anything shows up for him to
Mm-hmm.
send a runner to
Okay.
Abigail's place, since they wouldn't know what Zoe's place was.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just say Abby's place. They won't know where that is either. So,
Prime
honestly,
residence.
What was that time?
Zoe does not go down for breakfast.
Okay.
He heads back to her own room and just is there.
Mm-hmm. In that case, everyone else is at the breakfast table. You are welcomed by eggs and bacon and pastries.
I keep it relatively Spartan because there might be action today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of
All
action,
muffins all over my face.
all right, muffins everywhere. You all hear somebody running down the stairs.
Okay.
And a little bit of talking out in the hall, and then from a little farther, a door opening and slamming shut.
I kind of try to listen in. Like, do I overhear any snatches of conversation or anything?
Make a perception check. I think it's probably a little too far away for you to hear anything substantial. You're pretty sure you hear Nicholas's voice.
Can we just, like, Scooby-Doo poke our heads out the door?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like is it
Yeah.
much of enough of a ruckus and panicked enough to make us go,
Yeah.
"Whoa!"
It is very quick. You as you poke your head out the door, like you can just kind of see from here into the foyer, and you just see the door close to the outside. The butler is standing there with a bit of a worried, flustered look on his face. And yeah.
That seems odd. Swallow.
Is Gwen here?
Probably not.
Is anybody from the family here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, or is it just the strangers in a
No,
room?
it's just the strangers. It's the strangers and the staff.
What
I
do
would
we
say
do?
maybe somebody should go and check if it's okay.
He's not here.
Here. I like it, Rosamund. Go get Zoe. I'll try talking to the butler.
Right. Where's Zoe?
Was she in her room? Her sister's room? Her mom? The kitchen?
I'll see what I can do. And she hastens off. Not exactly running, but not
quick
dawdling
picnic?
either.
Okay.
What was the butler's name again? Sorry.
That's a good question. It's gonna give me a second to find it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. It's in here somewhere. His name is Garrett.
Also, is me a valid?
Sure.
Or sorry, a steward.
There's a steward, and there's a butler.
Yeah. Butler. Garrett is the nice butler.
Yes.
The other asshole is the other asshole.
Yeah, the steward's a douchebag. So you're going to talk to the butler.
I'm going to talk to the person with the perplexed and worried look on their face.
Okay. Can I help you?
I guess his lordship would be the proper term of address.
Sorry, say that again.
He's a noble, so his lordship
Yeah.
would be the proper term of
Okay.
address.
My apologies, your lordship.
No. I'm asking. This is me asking out of character about Nicholas.
Sure.
I'm calling him Nick.
Sure.
His lordship ran off. Is everything all right?
There seems to have been a disturbance this morning.
What kind of disturbance?
I'm not exactly sure. I heard the Church of Fortune mentioned.
Did his lordship say where he was going?
I think they were headed to the Merchant District.
Was he taking a coach? Was guards with him?
Yes, a guard, a runner was leading him. There would have been a coach. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about.
I give him that sort of smile. It's like, you're probably right. You should go back to your duties. Thank you.
Of course.
Duties.
Duty.
But I'm gonna suggest we get people together. We might want to go that direction because this seems like a clue.
I don't know what's coming, but let's go.
So, running off in search of Zoe, Risman knocks on her sister's door first.
Okay. Gwen is inside just getting dressed. Zoe is not there, correct?
Correct. She's in her own room.
Okay. And Gwen tells you to go look in Zoe's room.
Okay, and then that is where she heads next.
Okay.
No, I want to be like, no, she's in a different room.
Oh, he's in another castle.
What a princess.
I don't think she probably knocks, since that's where her stuff is. She just kind of comes bustling in.
And what's Zoe doing?
Sitting out on the terrace? Question mark? I think that's the right word. Reading a book.
Rizwan just pokes her head out. Something's wrong.
He's always wrong.
Okay, something's more immediately wrong with the current situation. Just come on.
So he prestidigitations herself to try and clean up her wrinkles and follows after.
On the way, just a brief like, hey, somebody, I don't know, brief description of what happened. People came bustling in, and then your father left.
In a panic. It sounded like, right?
In a rush.
In a rush, yeah.
Should we get the horses?
I don't know. And then we arrive, and
Then I relay that it's something involving specifically they said the church, right? Church
Yeah.
of Shiva? Okay, yeah. Or the Church of Fortune, or whatever they refer to it as. Could be a counterattack. This seems like it's worth investigating, especially if it's involving your father.
Let's go.
should we get the horses? What does it seem like we'd be able to move faster with horses, or is the city crowded enough that we'd be able to move faster on foot?
It's far enough away that you would probably want a carriage. There's not like a lot of places to keep horses. I mean, I guess carriages have horses, but you know what I mean, like 8 horses in the middle of it, just standing in the middle of the road.
Eight saddle horses are a lot more to deal with than 4 horses on a carriage.
Yeah.
Difference between grabbing a taxi and bring your own car.
Your own 8 cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have access, I'm sure we have access to a carriage from the guards. It's like,
yes. Well, from the family.
from the family. So, follow your father, or, follow the Primarch, or Primor.
Okay.
So many P words of authority.
Yes.
Are in that direction.
All right. So you guys get a carriage. Yes. Okay. And takes you towards the merchant district. And as you get there, you know where to go. As you arrive to that district, to a chaotic bustle not normal for this city. Stone debris litters the street, not in large quantities, but enough to be a hazard. Some of the cobblestone tiles are cracked. You see a sign in the middle of the street that's been knocked off someone's shop front. People are everywhere, on their hands and knees, bending down, looking at the ground for something. Others that aren't joining in the search are standing a ways away, just agape at the destruction in their perfect city. What do you do?
I stop and ask the first person I see what happened.
Some like big stone things came through just throwing gold.
That's not what I expected.
Yeah, that's not what I expected either.
If you want to get a clearer picture of what happened,
Yeah, I do. I'm going to try to get closer to the epicenter.
sure. Are you asking people, or are you trying to like do your own investigation?
I'm better at asking people, so
Okay.
that's what I'm going to do.
Make me a persuasion check to talk to people. You talk to a few people who are maybe a little more verbose. Early this morning, some big stone humanoid looking thing came out of the, they would point you towards an alley, came out of there with armfuls of gold, just throwing it all over the streets. Rizwin and Zoe would know that that alley that those people are pointing to, that thing came out of, was the alley down which the Church of Fortune is.
Like
Can-
throwing, like just like giving gold to the people, or like a cannon made that throws gold and hurt things.
Are we talking tossing it high into the air for people to catch, or a shotgun?
More the first, but you do hear from some of the guards that, you know, this was early in the morning, it was busy, and something throwing gold everywhere created a bit of a stampede, and some people did get hurt. Nobody seems to have died. And there are, you gather that the people who are like still scouring the streets are looking for more gold.
Uh-huh.
Amy,
Uh-huh.
is this the direction where I sent a demon?
Yes, it would have been basic. Place is basically due north.
I point that out.
If we're in an open area, I'll just see if I can sense a demon in 60 feet of me, just as almost
Okay.
like an instinctual reaction.
Yeah, you do not sense anything.
I just kind of shake my head.
So I'm a little confused. Things are broken, right?
Yeah. And people would tell you, like, whatever this stone thing was, it was big enough that it, like, knocked into buildings and, like, broke pieces off, broke the cobblestones underneath it.
So it was a big, heavy stone construct. We've seen
Yeah.
similar
Some people
things
were
before.
like, it was like this fucking big, like 10 feet tall.
I'll just kind of whisper to Zoe, remember those constructs in Alcalar?
Maybe we should follow the path of destruction?
I was thinking follow the reason why they came from points down the alley. Is that where you guys had that meeting yesterday?
Yes. That might be destruction. This way people might still be getting hurt.
Yeah, if this thing is still rampaging in the city, we need to go deal with it.
Yeah,
We
you're right.
need to deal with it, and maybe it was an attack from the group to stole.
That's my theory. This is retaliation against the church.
Okay, who wants to fly?
Let's
Rizwan always wants to fly.
I just put hand five. Let's keep it low key for now. Let's not draw attention to ourselves. So
Are you sure that we will cover all the ground and know where the things are?
I think that seeing a bunch of people flying through the air.
Saying fly, I'm saying a bird.
I think it's faster to just move as a group. I think we just go in that direction, follow the path of destruction, and see if we can stop this thing.
Time's wasting. Let's go.
Okay.
And Rhythm starts following the path of destruction.
Cool. I would like everybody to make me a perception check.
How crowded is it still?
It's still pretty crowded, especially right here, where like it seems that the action was the most prevalent.
I bet I'm going Giant Eagle.
I mean, if you want to take to the, aerial scout, that makes sense.
Okay.
Unless
Excellent.
I guess you can control your brain.
So Pert, Rizwan, and Kamal, you all notice in the crowd a couple of people who are wearing platinum-colored mail.
Believe a.
One of them Pert would recognize as the elf that he talked to 2 days ago?
Yep.
1 day ago? 2 days ago. He's like sitting down beside a woman, helping to like wrap bandages around her head. It looks like she took a bit of a knock. There's a couple more standing behind him, just sort of surveying the area.
Question. Do I notice this before fire takes off?
Probably.
Okay. I would like grab his shoulder and point and say, we really don't need to be drawing attention to ourselves right now.
Fine. God damn it.
And then she will still try to follow the path, but give them a very wide berth.
Okay.
Which god?
Where the fuck's the monk?
Is there a god of that in this universe?
I have opinions. Jamie knows things. You are...
I've lost the thread. What?
Don't worry about it. You are able to follow the destruction pretty easily. It's not like buildings have collapsed, like dead bodies everywhere. There's just like basically cracks in the stone, occasionally like a pile of rubble where this thing probably smashed into like a wall or a building.
Some busted up eaves troughs, are they?
Yes. You follow it a few blocks away. You see there's plenty of people just sort of staring at this, who, like, look at you as you go by. And a few blocks later, it just seems to end. There's a few city guards in this area. A couple are just, like, standing watch, and 2 are scouring the area as best they can, which is just kind of like looking around confused, not sure what they're supposed to be looking for.
Is there any evidence of a giant stone creature in the area?
Make a perception check.
Is that something you want from just Rizwan or any of us?
You do not see any giant stone creature in the area, or anything that might be the body of a giant stone creature in the area. There's nothing immediately apparent to suggest where it might have gone.
I'm gonna cast a spell real quick.
Okay.
Hey, you may be heading in the same direction my thought is, but I will say in the vague direction of Kamal and Zoe. Is there anything magical around here?
Let's find out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's in a corner going me.
Yep. Fire can also do it and do it better than I can.
It's within 30 feet.
Yes, and I had concentration for 10 minutes, so I'll just kind of walk the perimeter.
Okay. At one point, you do get a ping, from on the ground, and you look down, and there's, like, just like a couple of pebbles of rock that seem to have like the faint remnants of some sort of magic. I guess this would be enchantment.
So, like the components from a spell, maybe.
Make an intelligence check.
Okay.
This is the wrong.
Fuck if I know. I just
You
make
don't
my
know.
magic. My magic just does stuff.
Yeah. You have a couple of pebbles that have had magic cast on them fairly recently. And that's it.
I show them to Zoe or Fire as the other two sort of bigger magic users in the party. Any ideas?
I had one.
So you can take a closer look at it, but it's going to take 10 minutes.
I mean, I can tell you it's enchantment magic.
I think it's enchantment. Let me just I'm just double checking here. I don't know my magic schools very well. It might actually be transmutation.
I'd say if it's changing one object to another, it'd be transmutation. If it's making something do something like animating it, that's usually enchantment.
Okay, then it's enchantment.
I wasn't pretty sure what it is. So I have no idea.
Be right back, Bio.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll just let the
So-
other.
Is Zoe taking the 10 minutes to identify?
Hi, that sounds like a good idea, yes.
Okay.
Wasn't what I was thinking, but that's a good idea.
You have identify, yes? Can you link it in chat, please? And also, what are the rest of you doing?
Is there any tracks?
Make
Like-
a survival check.
The obvious path of destruction. Can I follow it and find an obvious end or something?
That is where you are currently standing.
Ah,
I think Rizwin will put on her best commanding officer impersonation. Like, she's not trying to convince the guards that she is one, but she is acting like an officer would and trying to get information out of them. Like, what happened? What did you see? What did people around here see?
Projecting
Blah,
an
blah,
air of authority.
Make an intimidation check.
Can I argue that my military rank officer feature gives me advantage on this?
I don't know, does it?
I think that gives us something.
Boy, I've got the book out for a lot today.
I mean, it doesn't, I don't think explicitly state that, but it says you can invoke your rank to exert influence over other soldiers and stuff.
I think that's more for soldiers of your former military organization, which these are not.
Alright.
Still, make me an intimidation check. They're definitely like a little intimidated by you, but not enough to sort of give information away to a stranger.
we see Nikolai around.
You do not.
Whatever happened and it's important, it's not happening here.
I mean, Zoe would know that, like, your father, or her father's a politician, not an investigator. Like, he's not necessarily going to be rushing to the scene of the crime.
No, he was gonna rush to the people responsible for it.
Okay. Pert turns around and goes back. Zoe, you finish your cast. These little bits of stone are pieces of a golem.
Has the spell ended on the golem? Or can they reform?
I would say that the spell has ended on these pieces. You're not sure if it's because they just if they just naturally broke off, or if the golem, the entire spell ended and the golem deconstructed. I don't know if there's a way for you to know that.
I mean, presumably the golem was still made out of physical material. So is there physical material on the ground that is incongruent with what's here?
An obvious pile of rubble.
Yeah, like is there piles of rubble in the
There's
corner?
nothing obvious. You can make an investigation check to try and find some more.
Sure. Anyone helping?
Rizwin moves on to trying to get information out of any citizens that she sees around.
Okay.
I guess I'll do it by myself then.
Yeah.
Help. I was checking to see if I had any skill in it at all.
I mean, advantage is still better than none.
Yeah. You may roll advantage. $13. You don't find any piles of rubble in the area that look the same. There might be little bits and pieces on the ground, and they're just too small for you to really notice them. There's no obvious big piles of it.
I'll ask the guards, where did the big constructs go?
I mean, they just look at you and are like, I don't fucking know. Rizwan, you can make another intimidation check or a persuasion check to talk to ordinary citizens. Nobody seems to know anything. Pert, you go back to, you see those 3 Platinum Army soldiers?
Is Fabian still helping the woman?
Yes. At this point, she's all bandaged up and he's just sort of talking to her.
And then Pert would approach, and if they're still bent down, then he'd come close and bend down himself and give a bit of a nod to Fabian before doing a couple of awareness checks with the lady, how many fingers am I holding up, that kind of stuff, just to make sure she is not having a concussion or anything crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's confirmed, he'll turn to look to Fabian, give a bit of a nod. Were you here when all this went crazy?
No, unfortunately not. It's, good to see you again, my friend.
You as well. I'd heard about some of the insanity and thought to at least come look into the worst of it, but it appears all we can do now is try to help the injured.
Yes, quite right.
And Pert will share the one detail he knows about whether or not it's important. They seem to have come from one very specific alleyway. He doesn't actually say what alley, just, I've been told from reliable sources that they came from a very specific alleyway here in town.
Phelan's yes, I heard much the same. seems though that the local guard have it under control, I'm sure.
Insight?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, sure. He just keeps talking like we are soldiers, not investigators. Unfortunately, our skills are not much use here.
I'm guessing that's too low to get any solid answers.
Yeah, you're not really sure.
Pert gives a bit of a nod. I wouldn't say I'm an investigator, but the least I can do is try to poke around and see what pops up. I wish you good luck with your own adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is going to be delaying your departure?
I'm not really sure. It's not up to me.
Pert grins. That is one of the things. When you've got 3 bosses, you have to wait to find out what they decide before you get to find out where you're going tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
And Pert will give him a grin and a pat on the shoulder. Well, looks like you've done the best that she's can take today. Hopefully, Pert looks to her. Does she look like she's got a reasonable amount? Like, does she look like she's a poor person? Does she look like she's a wealthy person?
She looks pretty like middle class. You're pretty sure she has a concussion, but at this point, there's not really much else to be done.
Yeah, she doesn't look like she's a poor person that's going to go die in a back alley, though. So,
No.
Pert will grin and give Fabian a squeeze on the shoulder. Should you ever wish to have further conversation, leave a letter at the at the embassy for me. I'm always interested in finding out more about just what's going on in a place this busy.
Yes, of course. It's nice to talk to you again, my friend.
You too. And Pert will give a salute to him and go back into the crowd, back towards the group.
All right. Back at the rest of the group. If you want to just like scour the area for unspecified clues, you can make me I guess, investigation or a survival roll.
Group, roll something good so I can give you shit.
I will assist somebody this time.
Yeah, I have slightly better at survival than investigation, so I'll do some of that with advantage. Or actually, I'll assist Amalus, maybe. They're the better tracker.
If nothing else, Amalus has a scent cat.
You need to teach Melis to sniff out magic.
Writes in to-do list. Enchant Melis with detect magic.
All right, give me some rolls.
Go forth, ranger person.
Okay. Is it just everybody's helping Amalus?
Yeah, I think we all kind of like. I have a bit of survival knowledge, and we all kind of look and say, "Oh, right, Amalus."
Mm-hmm. Okay. It is a little bit different looking for the tracks of a stone golem in a city. But scouring the area and just sort of like going a little bit away from this crossroads, you find yourself down an alley, where there's like a storm, like a grate for a storm drain that has been knocked askew.
Is it large enough for someone to get down?
It'd be large enough for a person to get down, not like a 10-foot golem.
What if the golem could deconstruct itself? It was made of gravel or loose stone, maybe? or clay. It was fluid. Thinking very Clayface from Batman.
Can I do it? Do I have any knowledge about golems?
Make an Arcana check.
Nope.
Yeah, you don't. You know that golems take a long time and a lot of magic and a lot of materials to make. That's about it. There's a reason they're not really around anymore.
My wizard friend, if she has any knowledge about golems.
Who are you asking? Vanya?
Vanya.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. It's gonna take a little bit for the, or it may take a little bit for the reply to come back through, but...
I mean, we have Noctis Q great here. That's suspicious in itself.
She asked Vanya for information.
Okay, so Zoe's writing in her book.
Is that while we're climbing down into this storm?
I guess so.
So yeah, like I'm not waiting around. We have a lead. And if I was a sinister cult and bent on the destruction of the city, I would hide out in the sewers.
Pert, you come back to the square. Your passive perception is high enough that you notice your companions in an alleyway, Rizwin climbing down into a storm drain.
Pert will stop at the wagon and tell the coach person to just probably go back to the house and keep everyone there safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll rush after the rest of the group to figure out what they've found.
Okay.
And I just played at the sewer grate. It's probably in the sewer.
Who was the first person to go down?
Probably Rizwan, unless anybody else is trying to elbow ahead.
It's probably Rizwan or Kama. I was like, okay, let's go. We have a thing.
Rizwan, make me a perception check as you get down there. Okay. So you drop down onto stone. Here. In fact, let me change some things over.
Remind me of something.
Do we suddenly turn into cats?
No.
It looks kind of similar.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So you drop down into this... it's a sewer. It smells like a sewer down here. Very sharp, acrid smell. Something squelches under your boots. You're in the middle of a corridor that goes straight in both directions past where you can see. With that 14, you notice, about 5 feet to your left, a little pile of very fine black stone rubble.
Okay. So I don't see anything immediately threatening in the area?
No. I want to be clear. This happened like an hour ago.
Yeah. I would like to, at this point, ask you a question. I took Remember off of the glaive, but I didn't unattune with it. Can I reattach it to the glaive now and have it work?
Yes.
Okay. As everybody else is climbing down, that is what Rizwan is doing, and she will point out this pile of rubble.
Okay.
Is it large enough to be like a mass that could cause that kind of damage we saw?
No, it's like the size of like a large donut.
So like a cinder block?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait for everyone to get down the stairs and just kind of gesture looking at Rosamund that way, I guess. In the directionality of the piece of rubble.
I mean, it's basically right underneath where the grate is.
Okay.
It doesn't really indicate one direction or the other. Also, I like how I thought donut and you thought cinder block.
So, this is David, not Pert. But
Mhm.
all I can picture now is someone wearing a golem as a mech suit and using this as an escape route, shedding the golem pieces as they go.
Listening for furious rating.
What you can do, to be honest.
But once Pert gets to the bottom of the hole, he'll start looking around to see if there's any obvious, footprints or something, just to hint at what direction whatever came this way came.
Scrapes in the filth, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Sure. Give me a survival or investigation check.
Sure.
Probably an investigation check.
I mean, it's a 1-point difference.
Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
Sherlock, Valorous on the case.
Yep. So there are some signs of movement down here. You do see some rat tracks in like the gunk that's just kind of built up along these stone walkways. Some big rat tracks. And also a few scrapes in the gunk on the wall that you think must have been made by a human, and like a footprint here or there. Actually, there's a few sets of footprints here, but there's one that looks pretty fresh.
Like someone was bracing themselves against the wall while they walked.
Or just, it's not that consistent with a 29. It's like somebody was stumbling around here drunk and just kind of like whacked into the wall occasionally.
But it's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Alright, then Pert will point that out, mention the rat markings as well, and that there are multiple footprints, so it could be that this is not all recent, but there is definitely somebody who came through here and touched the wall repeatedly, but not constantly, going in that direction.
Let's go in that direction and look for other cast-offs from whatever it was.
Okay.
Pert will lead the way, I guess, since he's got the eye for the effects.
Sure. Zoe, as the group is starting to head down this sewer tunnel, you do get a message back from Vanya. Did you ask her what did you ask her? Ty?
Yeah, sorry, thinking. Reports of giant golem. Do you know anything about them? Question mark.
They're big and scary, and I think she would say the mark of a great wizard.
So he passes this on.
Well, fuck.
And then asks, in her book, can somebody be inside one?
You just get back a whole bunch of question marks.
The truth is, I am Stone Man.
Yes.
You
Weird.
you continue down this path until it branches. With Pert's 29, I will say that you don't have much trouble at all following the trail of whoever this is. Which is good because very quickly you come across more and more and more branching paths. And you get the sense it would be very easy to get lost down here. Occasionally you see a mark on the side of a wall that Pert would recognize as Thieves' Camp.
What's the message?
It's literally just... Actually, make a wisdom check? Or a history check? Make a
Sure.
history check. Yeah, you're pretty sure that this is just like... what's the word I'm
Territorial
looking for?
markers?
No, it's
Like-
markers to denote where you are in the city.
Oh, okay.
So like this is, this building is above you.
Right, so it'd be like if it was like a coin, it would be you're below the bank or the mint, or
Yes.
three pillars, you're below the temple.
Yeah.
And can I get an approximate of what the symbol is?
Oh, you pass a couple. I'm just telling you that
Oh,
there's
okay.
Thieves' Cant on the walls. You're pretty sure that this is like...
It's like grid reference numbers on a map.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I thought we were at a specific one, not just
No.
passing them in general.
No, you pass a couple.
Okay. That makes more sense, and I won't press the DM to think of what location we're specifically passing.
Thank you. As you keep following these tunnels, I would like everybody to make a perception check.
That was a wrong button.
Yeah, that's not nature.
On the plus side, it's one lower.
Okay.
Sorry, my character sheet's bugging out.
That's okay.
Dear character sheet, please load.
Don't wanna. Can't make me.
Okay.
That's a lot of build-up for a wet fart of a roll.
I mean, I am not the most perceptive character.
Mhm.
That is not his forte.
Yes.
His forte is bashing things and making people listen to him.
Sometimes at the same
there's
time.
this awful like smash squelch sound when Kamel walks.
Mm-hmm.
It's very gross. As you continue on, actually, I assume somebody has a light spell up.
I would say two of us have light on all the time.
Okay.
So, yeah, one of us is light on, I'm sure.
Rizwin and Fire. The water below you look like it's always, since this moment you got down here, it's always looked gross. Like, kind of a greenish brown, smells terrible. But you notice it starts to get a little more green as you go on. And as you're waiting at a corner for Pert to, try to figure out where next to go, you notice the water in here moving in a bit of an unnatural way.
As in, there's a creature under it.
Sort of.
Is it a slime?
You see a green, kind of like a pseudopod, slide its way up out of the water, same color as the water, onto the stone and pull itself up.
Brisbane is taking a defensive stance and says, "Heads up."
And another one. And farther away from you, you start to see more of the water moving up, growing up into creatures.
There's multiple things.
Probably.
How many multiple?
We will get to that next week.
No.
Oh,
With the promise of combat after a month and a half.
Has it been? How long has it been since the last combat? Last thing we fought.
We
was
haven't had a
We
combat
haven't had a
this
combat
arc.
in a long time.
Last
been
The
like-
Cyclops.
Last combat was the Cyclops, which was
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been like
December?
4 or 5 sessions ago.
No, it's more than that.
Yeah,
December.
this,
At least.
Because we started this arc in the new year.
this half of the arc, I guess. Is
Half
what
of the
I-
arc in the new year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
I, mean, I said sessions, not weeks.
Yeah. It's been more than that, though, because this is 54, and 50 was the last session of
the village.
the village. Those are
And-
more than that. It's
Yeah,
been a
we had-
long time.
We had 2 sessions in the village, and then the session before that would have been the Cyclops battle.
Yeah.
Oy vey. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had to bash anything.
Well, you get to bash some green water in.
Lovely.
Wait, was there no combat in the cave thing?
Cave was
Oh, yes! Mist is right. It was a combat puzzle.
There was
that
a
was
fossil.
before the Cyclops, though.
That was after the Cyclops.
Yeah,
No,
the Cyclops was before we got to the village.
The Cyclops was on the way, was between the sort of the gateway village and Fire and Amulus's village. The Cyclops
Yeah.
were the whole Spirit Cave thing was before that.
I don't think so.
I do.
No,
don't think
it
so.
was. It was the first Eidolon, then the Cyclops, then the set of Eidolons.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Yes, my apologies.
And when you get to this episode, Silver, yes, we figured it out eventually. Don't correct us.
What?
Greeting from the past.
Or the future past. Silver's gotten to the return to Marialda from the labyrinth and stuff. She might be further than that, but that's the last time she updated me.
All I know is that I've only posted up to the first couple sessions of Arc 2.
Oh, I gave them all to her.
Oh, I guess I don't need to upload anything then.
No, you should.
Oh.
You should still.
Backups are good.
It's rather the difference between needing to get those out so she can look at it, and I still have backups, but
Mhm.
it's like putting the effort into because I need to convert them before I can upload them.
Yeah.
Kind of like I need to get around to asking Jamie for the episode titles, so that way I can retitle mine, because mine are just the dates.
Yeah.
You put episode titles?
I do. So that it's easier for me to remember what happens in each one. If it's just dates, like I don't fucking know when things happen.
Yeah, if you ask her December 7th, 2019, she's going to go, huh?
Huh?
Yeah, I have like arc number and session of arc.
I gotta step away